All right, let's get right into it. If you're one of the hundreds of millions of people who are still using a Windows 10 computer, we need to talk. Because your PC is on the verge of becoming a huge security risk. The clock is officially ticking, and we're going to break down exactly what's happening and the choices you really need to consider making, like, today.
And there it is. As of October 15th, 2025, the decade-long run of Windows 10 is over. It's done. Microsoft has officially pulled the plug on free support for what has been one of the most popular operating systems, well, ever.
And just to be clear, this isn't some small niche problem. We're talking about a massive number of people. According to data from StatCounter and TeamViewer, over 40% of all desktop computers in the world are still running Windows 10. That's hundreds of millions of machines.
So here's the bottom line. You know that automatic protection that's been working behind the scenes for years? The thing that shields you from new viruses, malware, and all that nasty ransomware? Well, it's about to be gone. Just poof.
This brings us to what end of support actually means for you. Now, your computer isn't going to suddenly brick itself and stop working. But that invisible shield that's been protecting it, yeah, it's just been lowered. For good.
So let's break this down. No more free security patches for any new threats that hackers discover. No new features, no more bug fixes. Your PC will still turn on, sure, but it is now what security experts call a sitting duck. Every single day you connect that machine to the internet, your risk of getting hit with a cyber attack just goes up and up.
Now, you're probably thinking, okay, easy fix. Why doesn't everyone just upgrade to Windows 11? And, well, that's where the story gets a little complicated. You see, Microsoft basically built a wall, and a whole lot of perfectly good computers just can't climb over it.
The biggest obstacle is this little thing called TPM 2.0. That stands for Trusted Platform Module. All you really need to know is that it's a special security chip that Microsoft now says is mandatory for Windows 11. And the problem? Millions of PCs made before, say, 2017 simply don't have it, even if they're still perfectly fast for everything you do. And this is what's so frustrating for so many people. Look at these requirements. Most of these older PCs have plenty of horsepower, more than enough memory and storage. They check almost every single box. But it's that one little component, that TPM 2.0 chip, that acts like a bouncer at a club saying, nope, you can't come in. It's leaving millions of users stranded on an outdated operating system.
So if your computer is one of the ones stuck behind this Windows 11 wall, what are you supposed to do? Well, the good news is you're not totally out of luck. There are basically 4 main paths you can take from here.
You can pay Microsoft to buy yourself a little more time. You can give your PC a complete makeover with a brand new free operating system. You could just bite the bullet and buy a new machine. Or you can try the risky path of a workaround that's definitely not supported. Let's dig into what each of these really looks like. First up is Microsoft's own solution, the Extended Security Updates Program, or ESU. For about $30 for the first year, you can keep getting those critical security patches. But, and this is a big but, you're just kicking the can down the road. It's a subscription, and it is absolutely not a permanent fix.
Then you've got the high-risk, high-reward path. You'll find people on forums like Reddit who figured out these unofficial hacks to bypass the hardware checks and force the Windows 11 upgrade. Now, while that might sound awesome, it is completely unsupported by Microsoft. A random future update could totally break your system. This is a path for experts only and for people who are okay with the risks. For most of us, it's not the way to go.
Now, a much better long-term solution is to replace Windows altogether. I know, that sounds terrifying, right? But hear me out. Modern alternatives are surprisingly easy to use, and best of all, they are free and totally secure.
The 2 biggest players here are Chrome OS Flex and Linux Mint. Think of it this way. Chrome OS Flex is perfect if you basically live in your web browser. It turns your old laptop into a super fast Chromebook, all secured and updated by Google. On the other hand, you've got Linux Mint. It gives you a classic desktop experience that looks and feels a lot like Windows, and it's famous for running beautifully on older, slower hardware. Honestly, an operating system like Chrome OS Flex can breathe new life into an old device, making it feel snappy and modern again. And it's not just about security. It's a fantastic way to cut down on e-waste and get a few more years out of the hardware you already own. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, right? From paying for updates to completely switching your operating system. But no matter which path you think you're going to choose, there is one thing that every single person with a Windows 10 PC needs to do right now. I'm going to say it again. Back up your files.
Seriously, before you do anything else, and especially before you keep using a PC that's no longer getting security updates, you absolutely need a complete copy of all your important stuff.
And look, it's not as hard as it sounds. It's actually pretty straightforward. Just grab an external hard drive, go to your settings and find the Backup and Restore feature, and then click Create a System Image. This makes a perfect copy of your entire computer, giving you a safety net before you make your next big move. You know, this whole situation forces you to step back and ask a much bigger question. As companies get stricter with these hardware rules, are we leaving behind the days of long-lasting, upgradable computers? Are we heading into a future where our expensive devices are basically designed to be disposable? It's something to think about, as millions of us now have to decide what to do with machines that work perfectly fine but are suddenly obsolete.